What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to the Collective MMA channel. I am here with episode 15 of Fight IQ. Today, we are going to cover UFC Fight Night Sacramento, Hernandez versus Rodrigues. Lots of sick fights on this card. Lots of good betting opportunities. I'm very interested in a lot of these fights. So definitely looking forward to breaking all these down. Before we do that, we'll just do a quick recap of UFC 330. Yeah, like overall, pretty good card. There's a few big upsets. And yeah, the two title fights obviously weren't the most entertaining. But either way, it was a pretty good card. On 5 MMA bets in just 10 minutes, we cashed Jalen Turner money line, we cashed Trayshawn Gore money line, and we cashed Esteban Ribovics and Mackenzie Dern 2-leg parlay. So that's 4 profitable weeks in a row on 5 MMA bets in just 10 minutes. That video will be coming out again this week. We will cover UFC and maybe some bets from PFL as well. So definitely hit that subscribe, turn the notification bell on, and stay tuned for that. We'll look to go for our 5th profitable week in a row. So let's jump right into UFC Fight Night Sacramento. With our first fight of the night, we have Shanelle Dyer versus Elise Reed. Dyer is coming in at minus 750, and Reed is coming in at plus 534. On the Reed side, pretty good striker, Taekwondo style, kicks to all levels, basic combos, not the most defensively sound, durable, but doesn't react to getting hit super well. Not the best takedown defense and can be controlled in the grappling. On the Dyer side, good striker, kickboxing style, good footwork, leg kicks. He also kicks to all levels, good straights, pretty good power and killer instinct, high guard, doesn't deal well when pressured, and she wants to control the distance at her kickboxing range. Much prefers to be the hammer rather than the nail, again, unless she's controlling the distance in the kickboxing range. She's got pretty good takedown defense, good clinch knees and elbows. This one, I like Dyer, and I think she's going to get a finish in this one. It could be a decision, but, Dyer's striking is fun to watch, and when she's on her game, she's going to have a, sizable power edge and speed edge in this one, and I can see her landing something big that rocks Reed, and then she ends up finding the TKO finish or potentially a decision. I think it primarily plays out on the feet, and Dyer's got sharper skills and more weapons. She's also younger and hungrier, and it doesn't seem like Reed is, that committed to making a title run or anything like that. So, yeah, I like Dyer. I do think the line is a little bit wide, but, I think as far as a bet, you could look at the Dyer KO prop around plus 130, or Dyer by decision, you're getting around that plus 225, plus 230 range. So I think either one of those two would be props that would be worth a look for that fight. So we will keep on moving. Next up in the middleweight division, we have Wes Schultz versus Jackson McVey. Wes Schultz coming in at plus 153 and Jackson McVey at minus 175. This one on the Schultz side, mediocre striker. He's hittable. He spins a lot, especially when he gets uncomfortable. Just in general, uncomfortable on the feet. He's mainly striking to look to go for his takedowns. And sometimes he telegraphs those takedowns as well, as his opponents know that he's, looking to get the fight to the mat at all costs as well, which leads to a lot of those getting stuffed. He's got okay wrestling, good grappling, though, good sub-arsenal. He struggles to complete takedowns at times. He'll also pull guard, which I'm not a fan of at all. He'll cage push. He's got pretty good clinch knees, and he also jumps the guillotine, which I don't like either. And then on the McVey side, he's a decent striker. Not the best from range. He more so wants to, pressure you, get the cage push going, land some clinch knees and elbows. He's pretty physical. He'll throw some shoulder strikes as well. Basic combos, decent power. He's also not the most defensively sound. He's pretty good in top control, got pretty good ground and pound. He's position over submission. He's got good grappling. He also has a pretty good sub-arsenal. Not the best takedown defense. He's a back taker, and he can get stuck on bottom position. This is one that I probably am not going to want anything to do with. I'm going to pick McVey to win by knockout, but this one's going to come down to the grappling and wrestling sequences. If McVey is able to get the cage push going and land his knees and elbows and be on top position, if and when it hits the mat, I think he can make it look relatively easy. However, if Schultz is able to get top control or take McVey's back, he can absolutely get the finish by sub in this one. Neither of these two have the highest ceilings in my eyes and are fairly lower level. And they're both flawed fighters, They're both hard to trust at the best of times. And I got to take McVey to fight smart, avoid the submissions, and find a KO or TKO finish. But yeah, I'm not sure if I end up doing anything with this one. As far as an angle, McVey inside the distance at -105 or McVey KO plus 178 would be how I would target it. Or if you think that Schultz can pull off the upset, I think you could money line him as well, obviously. But Schultz by submission, I'm seeing at plus 335, plus 285 range. I think that would be a decent prop to look at as well. We will keep moving. Next up, we have Gage Young versus Stan Dorsainvil. Gage Young is coming in at -150 range. -150, -145 range. And then we got Dorsainvil at plus 144. On the Dorsainvil side here, he's making his UFC debut. He's a pretty good striker, works the jab, pressure, mixes up his strikes and targets, throws some teeps, basic combos, some straights, got a good step in knee and elbow. He'll throw a spinning elbow as well. Cage push, decent power. He's opportunistic with the back takes, decent takedowns, pretty good ground and pound, and he's got good grappling as well. And on the Young side, he's a good striker, not the most one-shot knockout power, but good volume, more so that sort of volume and pressure style. He'll throw some high kicks. He's got good head movement, works the jab, basic combos, leg and teep kicks. Good volume, good sprawl, and decent takedown defense. He works back up to the feet if he's taken down. He can get slick against the cage, and he has decent takedowns of his own. This is one, where taping both these guys, I think Dorsainvil has some talent and he's pretty athletic, and I think he's going to win some fights in the UFC. But I think this is a bit of a tall ask on his debut going up against, somebody in Gage Young who has won fights in the UFC, and he's no slouch at all. He doesn't have the biggest, names on his resume, but, he's won some fights, and in his last one, beating Thiago Moises, that was a solid win. Before that, Mahashate. So, yeah, it's not like he's fighting cans. He's beating some decent guys in the UFC. And, yeah, I think Young's going to find a way to get this one done either by decision or a late finish. Dorsainvil is also taking this fight on short notice. He did have a fight booked for around this time, but he's stepping in to take this fight. I just think Young's going to be the better boxer and have more volume in this one. And I think if he fights with a smart game plan, he can get this one done. I think he's the rightful favorite. And Dorsainvil might look to grapple at points if he's getting uncomfortable. But Young does a good job of sprawling, and I think this fight primarily plays out on the feet, and Young finds a way to get it done. So I think as far as a bet, Young on the money line at that -140, -150 range would be a solid look. We will keep moving. Next up, we got Márcio Barbosa versus Ryan Kuse. Barbosa is coming in at -800 range. And we have, more money's coming in on Kuse, I see as well. Nothing too crazy, but Barbosa around that -700, -800 range, and Kuse at about +614. On the Kuse side, decent striker. He throws legs and high kicks, boxing combos, pressure, pretty good clinch knees and elbows. He'll catch kicks, decent takedowns, pretty good takedown defense, back taker. He'll get the cage push going, good scrambles, and he's got pretty good grappling. And on the Barbosa side, this dude is a sharp striker, great power, works the jab, boxing combos, educated pressure. He's this guy pretty much knocks out everybody in round one, but he doesn't just like come out and force it. Like he sets it up and he sort of lets it come to him, which I really like. He throws heavy leg kicks, good teeps, killer instinct. He's patient in a good way, high guard, and he's got heavy ground and pound. Some of the money coming in on Kuse does make a little bit of sense to me, just because I do think the line was a little bit wide. Like Kuse isn't awful, like he's all right. Again, hasn't fought the greatest level of competition, but there are some things to like about him. But Barbosa is a different animal, and Kuse hasn't fought anybody like him before. I think there's a good chance Kuse looks to grapple, but Barbosa's a strong guy, and he only needs one moment to finish the fight. And as I mentioned about Barbosa, like he doesn't really force the knockout. He sort of lets it come to him naturally. And he's got, crazy power in his hands. So I think there's a good chance that he gets that here. Likely this is a round 1 or round 2 finish. Barbosa will make his reads early. And I think, Kuse may like to grapple, but at some point that KO blow is going to come. So as far as a bet in this one, Barbosa round 1 KO at -175 or Barbosa round 2 KO at +475 would be the angles I would be looking at for this fight. So we'll keep moving. Next up, we got Chris Padilla versus Nasrat Haqparast. Padilla is at +108 and Haqparast is at -113. This, for me, is probably the toughest fight to call on the card. Obviously, it's the closest line fight as well. But, on the Haqparast side, like he's a pretty good striker, boxing combos. He mixes up his targets, teep kicks, high guard, uses footwork well, kind of got that block and return style. He's down to let you throw one, and then he wants to counter with his boxing attacks. Decent takedowns. He does slow as the fight goes on. And on the Padilla side, he's also a pretty good striker. That Muay Thai style, volume, pressure. He works the jab and leg kicks, boxing combos as well. He mixes up his strikes and targets. Cage push. He's got nasty clenched knees and elbows, especially the elbows. Teep kicks, high guard, pretty good takedown defense, and he tends to build as the fight goes on and doesn't seem to slow down a whole heck of a lot. I'm going to lean towards Padilla getting this one done by later KO or decision. But I think this fight, it's going to be close. Like it's going to play out on the feet for the most part. And I think Padilla is going to be able to mix up his targets and strikes better and land more volume compared to Haqparast. However, Haqparast, being with Firas Zahabi, I think he is going to have a good game plan. And with that high guard of Padilla, I think Haqparast is going to try to work that body, which would be smart. And typically he does. And I think it's going to be close. I'm going to lean towards Padilla getting this one done. So as far as the bet, just Padilla straight up on the money line at +108, I think is a solid bet. But I also wouldn't be shocked if Haqparast got this one done. Not sure if I end up playing this one. We'll keep on moving. Next up, we got Kennedy Nzechukwu versus Shamil Gaziev. Nzechukwu at +122 and Gaziev at -127. This one, Gaziev, he's a pretty good striker. He's got some pretty good power, boxing combos, pressure, fast hands early, bit of a plotter, wants to brawl, tends to back straight up when he's getting pressured and getting hit. He likes to cage push and sort of stall it out along the fence. Okay takedowns, and he slows noticeably as the fight goes on. And then on the Nzechukwu side, good striker, works the jab, low and teep kicks, pretty good power, good straights, pretty good combos. He uses feints well, got a good step and knee, okay takedown defense. He works back to the feet if he's taken down, got some good ground and pound and pretty good cardio. Is a bit low volume at times. But this is an interesting fight. I'm going to lean towards Nzechukwu getting this one done by round 2 or round 3 KO. So long as he can keep this fight on the feet and stay, not get, put up against the cage, I think he's going to be able to out-volume and outpace Gaziev. Gaziev is definitely dangerous in round 1 and could get a round 1 KO, but, he slows a lot as the fight goes on. And I think if he doesn't bonk him in round 1, I think Nzechukwu is going to win this fight. Nzechukwu has good cardio and heart, and I think he has enough dog in him to survive round 1 and pour it on Gaziev in the later rounds. So as far as a bet, I I would lean towards Nzechukwu straight up on the money line at plus 122. Like I said, his volume is a bit low at times, and so is his fight IQ. But I think that he just has a lot more pathways to win here. And yeah, if you like Gaziev, might maybe just play him by knockout. But yeah, for me, I'm going to pick Nzechukwu in this one. Not sure if I bet it, but I think he'd be the side from money line standpoint for sure in this one. Next up, we have Jamall Emmers versus Lerryan Douglas. Emmers is coming in at plus 355 and Douglas is at minus 376. On the Emmers side, pretty good striker. He works the jab, good boxing combos, got good speed. He's fast on the feet, mixes up his targets. He's got some decent takedowns as well. Got pretty good timing on them as well. Good clinch, knees and elbows, pressure, keep kicks. He's willing to trade in the pocket, and he's got pretty good grappling. On the Douglas side, solid striker, leg kicks, good power, straights, boxing combos, killer instinct, good teep kicks, pretty good takedown defense, and he's got pretty good ground and pound. This is an interesting fight. I think Douglas is going to get this one done by knockout, but Emmers is no slouch, and I could see both guys landing some solid shots on the feet. Emmers also may look to wrestle in this one if he's getting uncomfortable. But Douglas has shown pretty good takedown defense, and he does a good job of staying composed and not being off balance. In the Haqparast fight for Douglas, Haqparast would end up, walking forward, throwing a bunch of power shots, and it kind of end up having a lot of weight on his lead foot. And Emmers was timing those well and able to get the takedowns off of those with his level changes. But I don't know if that's really going to be the same here with Douglas. I think at some point Douglas is going to land a big shot that finishes the fight. So as far as a bet, I would look at Douglas round 1 KO plus 125. I probably wouldn't be parlaying Douglas at this price because if Emmers can survive that first round, he is quite good, and I think he could be a live dog in this one. But yeah, give me Douglas and give me Douglas by knockout. We will keep moving. Next up, we have Anthony Wint versus Terrance Chatman. Wint actually just fought on week 1, season 10 of Dana White's Contender Series, got a quick knockout, and he is already back. So looking forward to seeing him again. And yeah, not a whole lot's changed from the breakdown on Contender Series week 1. He's a good striker, good combos, good power, good speed. He's athletic, very dangerous early, and he's got a killer instinct. And then on the Chatman side, he's a decent striker, looks to pick his shots, which leads to him being pretty low volume. He'll throw some teeps and leg kicks. He's got decent power, bit more of a plotter, and he's willing to back up. So a lot of those things I just mentioned for Chatman, I do not like at all for him in this matchup. I think Wint gets this one done by knockout, probably pretty violently in round 1. There'll just be a massive speed and athleticism difference. And I think Wint gets him out of there early, just like he did on Contender Series. So as far as a bet, Wint round 1 KO at minus 145. I think he gets that done by round 1 knockout at a pretty high clip. So we won't waste too much time on that one. We'll keep moving. Next up, we have Carli Judice versus Jeisla Chaves. Judice is coming in at minus 488. And Chaves is at plus 456. This one, Judice, good striker, really like her striking, good combos, puts her punches and kicks together, good variety of kicks, low, high, body kicks, spinning kicks, good volume, good straights, calculated pressure, decent power for the weight class, good step and knee. She's got okay takedown defense and does scramble and work back to the feet if she's taken down. Good cardio, good fight IQ, decent takedowns and decent grappling. And then on the Chaves side, she's a pretty good striker, leg kicks, boxing combos, straights, decent power. She is hittable. If you've watched her Contender Series fight against Sofia Montenegro, both of them were leaking in round 1, and she took a lot of damage, but she has a lot of dog in her, I would say. She works back to the feet if she's taken down. She's got decent takedowns of her own, looks to take the back, decent cage push, and pretty good clinch knees and elbows. I'm going to lean towards Judice by decision. I think this fight could play out very close, though. Both fighters are willing to throw down and both throw a lot of volume. I think Judice is just going to be the more technical one in this one, but Chaves is going to have more power. I think the fight primarily plays on the feet and likely goes long as both fighters are durable and have a lot of heart. I do want to mention as well, I think this line is a little bit wide, and by a little bit, I kind of mean a lot. Like I said, I'm picking Judice, but like -2, -250 probably makes more sense. Like Chaves is a dog, and Chaves is going to fight for your money. So I don't mind a dog shot on Chaves by any means. For me, I think the angle that I would look at for this fight is the over 2.5 at -138. Both these fighters are, super durable, super tough, got a lot of heart. So I think this fight goes all 15, and I think Judice likely wins a 29-28 decision. So yeah, I think the over 2.5 would be a good look for this fight. We'll keep moving. Next up, we got MarQuel Mederos versus Mason Jones. Mederos is coming in at +257, and Jones is coming in at -270. On the Jones side, good striker, combos. He mixes up his targets, kicks to all levels, pretty decent power, good head movement, counters, footwork. He likes to pressure, got a good step and knee, good grappling, dirty boxing and clinch knees, good throws. Like talking about, he has a judo background. He does good with the judo throws, good ground and pound. He's durable, a lot of heart, decent takedown defense, and he does work back to his feet if he's taken down, and he's a pretty good grappler. On the Mederos side, he's a pretty good striker, works the jab, pretty good leg kicks. He catches kicks, clinch knees and elbows, footwork, basic combos, step and elbow, that's good. Pretty good takedown defense. He can get backed up, and he's got decent grappling. I like Jones in this one. I think he's going to get done by a decision or late KO. I think he's going to have more power in this one, and he's going to have a lot of success on the feet. I also think that Jones can look to grapple here if he wants to. Mederos is no slouch and could have some moments, but Jones is such a dog. I got to trust him to find a way to get this one done. For a bet, I think, a same game parlay, Jones money line and the over 1.5 at -130. And that would be a solid look. And yeah, Jones is going to have a sizable reach advantage in this one. I think he can really use that well. Yeah, about 4.5 inches of reach. I think that's going to factor in. And yeah, I think he's going to find a way to get this one done. I like Mederos. I've bet him a couple times. But yeah, Jones is just a dog, and I think he's going to find a way to get this one done. So yeah, I like Jones money line and the over 1.5 at -130. Next up, we have Reinier de Ridder versus Roman Dolidze. De Ridder is coming in at -335 and Dolidze at +317. This one, De Ridder, he's a decent striker, a little bit awkward on the feet. He'll throw the jab. He's got a really good step in knee, which he does leave his chin up in the air when he does it, but it is very good, and it's probably his most effective weapon on the feet. Not the most defensively sound. He's got solid grappling, good judo throws, decent takedowns, like wrestling style takedowns, good sub arsenal, good ground and pound. He is willing to back up, but does better when he's pressuring, and he prefers to pressure. Thrives in a dirty clinching style fight, which is I think what he's going to look to do here. And then on the Dolidze side, he's an okay striker, bit of a plotter. He'll throw a jab, leg kicks, some power shots. Tends to be on the lower volume side of things. Some basic combos. He's also not the most defensively sound. He likes to cage push. He's got good grappling as well. Not the best takedown defense, and he's willing to play jiu-jitsu off of his back. Doesn't deal with pressure super well, and he slows as the fight goes. This is one that I'm probably going to stay away from, but I think RDR gets this one done by decision or late finish. I think, the striking will be fairly close on the feet, but I don't think it's going to spend all that much time there, as neither guy, that's really their game by any means. I think RDR is going to be able to land some of those step and knees, and he's going to get his cage push game going and implement his grappling attack. RDR's cardio has looked improved, and I think he'll be able to outpace Dolidze and likely win a decision. Dolidze, as I mentioned, has very good grappling, and he's not going to be a easy guy to submit by any means. So yeah, as far as a bet on this one, I would look at RDR by decision at plus 135. But yeah, that would be the kind of the only angle. I probably wouldn't parlay De Ridder, but I do think he gets it done. We will keep on moving. Next up, we have Sergey Spivak versus Vitor Petrino. Spivak is coming in at plus 138, and Petrino is coming in at minus 144. Spivak, he's a pretty good striker. He's definitely been improving that aspect of his game. Earlier in his career, his striking wasn't, all the best, but it's definitely, been looking a lot better as of late. Throw some teep kicks. He has a pretty good jab that he likes to throw out there. Good boxing combos, leg kicks, has a high guard, decent power. He's got some solid grappling. He likes the cage push, decent takedowns. He prefers to be the hammer. He does slow as the fight goes on. He's got pretty good ground and pound, decent submissions. And then on the Petrino side, good striker, jab, boxing combos, good power. He's athletic. Not the most defensively sound, though. He has the hands low style. He's got decent grappling. Can go for takedowns of his own. Doesn't have the best takedown defense, but he will work back to his feet if he is taken down. This is one where, pre-tape, I was leaning towards Petrino and Petrino by knockout, but after tape, I think there's some value on Spivak in this one. I think he's going to get this one done by either decision or TKO. There's still some questions I have about Petrino, and Spivak is more well-rounded and has fought the much better level of competition. Petrino is live for an early KO for sure, but if he doesn't get that early KO, I think Spivak rolls here. His striking has, improved a lot, and I think he can use the jab and have success with it here. Also, if he gets the takedowns and implements his grappling, I think there's going to be a, noticeable edge as well. And I think he could get this one done, by ground and pound TKO or potentially by submission as well. So as far as the bet in this one, I think Spivak straight up on the money line would be worth a look. Not sure if I end up playing this one, but yeah, at the current line, I think it would be Spivak or pass. We will keep moving to the main event. Be sure to hit that like, hit that subscribe, leave me a comment. I really enjoyed all you guys' comments on my Dana White Contender Series breakdown. Enjoyed chatting with you guys. And yeah, thank you guys so much for all the support up to this point. We will go to the main event. Anthony Hernandez versus Gregory Rodrigues. Hernandez is coming at minus 156 and Rodrigues at plus 150. On the Hernandez side, pretty good striker, solid leg kicks, likes the pressure, boxing combos, solid grappling, good takedowns. He chains his takedowns attempts. He attacks submissions. He's got good control, good ground and pound, pushes a high pace, and he uses cardio as a weapon. He's durable, and he's also a finisher. On the Rodrigues side, good striker, very athletic, good power, good combos. He's got a nice 1-2, pretty good kicks. He's got solid grappling, although he doesn't really use it a whole lot. He more so uses it defensively. He's dangerous early, and he does slow as the fight goes on. As far as a pick, I'm going to lean towards Hernandez, getting this one done by late finish. Hernandez is going to have to weather the storm in the first 2 rounds. I think that's going to be, not an easy task for him. But I think it's doable. Rodrigues is absolutely live to finish this fight early, especially in the first 2 rounds. But yeah, he fades as the fight goes on. And I do like that Hernandez, after his last fight, he went to go train with Sean Strickland. And I think if he comes in with the right game plan, I think he can drown Rodrigues late and find a finish. Again, though, if he's stuck on the feet striking, similar to the Strickland fight, early in the fight, I think there's a fairly high chance he does get knocked out. I think Rodrigues is gonna, watch the tape and note that, he's got a really good chin, but he's more vulnerable to the body. I think that's something that he could target. I think from a betting angle, I think if you want to play Hernandez, I'd probably wait and live bet this one, maybe after round 1 or at some point in round 2, because I do think there's a fairly good chance that, Rodrigues can win the early rounds and potentially get a finish in round 1. So I probably wouldn't play Hernandez before the fight, but I do think he could be a solid live bet. Also, if you like Rodrigues, I think you could just play Rodrigues by knockout at plus 241. I think that would be a good way to play it, because if he wins, I don't think he's going to be able to win a decision. I can't really see that, and I don't think he's getting a submission either. So it's, I think KO is by far the most likely outcome for him if he wins. And if you do want to bet Hernandez obviously you could go money line as well, or you could go inside the distance at I think about plus 112. That could also be worth a look. But yeah, this fight's pretty volatile. So yeah, if you like Rodrigues, I think you play him by knockout or you play him money line. He probably gets it done early. But if you like Hernandez, I think a live bet or potentially you play him inside the distance at plus 112 could also be worth a look. So that is the main event. So we will move on to the next segment, the fighter to watch and the fight of the night. My fighter to watch, I'm going to go with Márcio Barbosa. I saw this guy fight in his last fight at UFC Winnipeg versus Dennis Buzukja, and he got a nasty knockout. He got a nasty knockout on Contender Series as well, and had a handful of nasty knockouts on LFA when he was in LFA as well. I'm a big fan of him. I think he's really entertaining to watch. I like his style. I like his calculated pressure. And I think he's going to come out here on Saturday and make a statement and get another early knockout. So Márcio Barbosa is my fighter to watch. My fight to watch, I'm going to go with Carli Judice versus Jeisla Chaves. I like both of these fighters. I've been pretty high on Judice, for a while. And then Chaves really impressed me on her Contender Series fight, and then also, did pretty well in her UFC debut against Duben as well. So I think this is going to be a striker's delight. I think it's going to go all 15 minutes. I think we're going to see, a lot of strikes thrown and landed, and I think it's going to be a very entertaining fight. So that will be my fight to watch. That does it for UFC Fight Night Sacramento breakdown. Note that we will be covering LFA this week as well, along with PFL. We will also come back with another episode of 5 MMA bets in just 10 minutes, coming off 4 profitable weeks. Every week we've done it so far, we've come out green. We will look to keep that going. And yeah, as I mentioned, LFA video will be coming out, and so will PFL. LFA is on Friday, and PFL is on Saturday. So yeah, definitely hit that hit that subscribe, turn that notification bell on. You won't want to miss LFA and PFL along with 5 MMA bets in just 10 minutes. Thank you guys so much for all the support. I've really been enjoying doing these breakdowns and chatting with you guys in the comments. So thank you guys so much, and we will catch you in the next episode.